On the Active Patient Tracker dashboard, we talked about all the data described in this highlighted area here. And so that data describes and measures potential scheduled visits, meaning what is the plan for having someone scheduled? If you don't have a good plan, then you've lost from the very beginning. The next thing that you need to do is be able to measure and track how well you're implementing that plan. And that's what we're going to talk about next in this video. On the roster, we've got simply these three columns for data as to what is the plan for being scheduled. What was the plan on the very first day? What's the ongoing ideal plan? And this week, the Life Happens column, what is it that we've had to adjust to? And in this case, we've had to adjust just one person. Ideally, we want them to come in twice, but you know what? We're only really going to expect them to come in once because they're coming on Tuesday. So now we need to be able to measure whether or not we're executing that plan well. So there's some additional columns on the roster that we hide unless we actually need to use them. And it's these columns here, and these columns will allow you to track, did a patient schedule? Did they arrive? Did they schedule but not show up? So in this case, it's a Friday, so the week is completed, and we'll talk in more detail here in a moment. But in this case, this person came on Monday and Wednesday, but on Friday they were scheduled, but they didn't come in, so that's a cancel. So we have a column here that just tracks it for you, just for convenience as you're looking at the roster itself. This person was scheduled 3 times, 1, 2, 3, but they actually only had 2 patient visits, 1 and 2. And so all of these folks here had that issue. This person was supposed to come in once. They were scheduled on Monday, but they didn't show. So again, that gets highlighted so that we know that immediately someone's already not able to live up to the expectations for the week, and we've had even more trouble getting them in. That allows you to red flag them and to look at that, whatever that scenario is closer, and try and remedy it. So by putting these in each day, so at the end of Monday, you would have somebody go through the roster and compare that against your schedule as to who came in and who didn't. Now, that can be a bit overwhelming and pretty labor intensive if you've got 60, 70, 80 or more active patients. So here's how this goes a little easier. The first thing you want to do is you want to go up to the button here that says Front Desk Print. This is actually a sort button. So it sorts it in a manner that the front desk can print it out and use it easily to their advantage. So as you see here, we don't have anybody in alphabetical order. When you click that, it now puts them all in alphabetical order. So with everyone in alphabetical order, let's go back to, we'll unhide it again. With everybody in alphabetical order, it's much easier when you look at the schedule to find somebody and then immediately find them. So maybe Zoe came in on Monday at 8 o'clock in the morning. Well, you know, immediately Zoe's going to be at the bottom unless you go down and you can record it there. So each day you're going to do that. There's one other method that we've included here. It's kind of optional. You can choose to do it if you like. And that is simply before you go trying to count all those, you're simply going to identify whoever came in, whoever was scheduled for Monday. You can do that first thing Monday morning. and you tag all the people in that column who were scheduled for Monday. So now what you can do is when you filter this for just the X's, it removes everybody else. So maybe you have 90 active patients, but you have 50 people scheduled for Monday. You've just removed 40 of those people that aren't scheduled so that you visually don't have to sort through them. So by doing this, it makes it much easier to fill this out at the end of the day so that you can then begin to track things. Now, come the end of the week, all this information's in. So when we go back to look at the dashboard, what it tells us is we had 11 scheduled visits. There we go, 11 scheduled visits, and we had 9 patient visits. So it tells us we had 11 scheduled visits. We were supposed to have 13 scheduled visits. So that calculates out to we had 85% of the total possible scheduled visits actually put on the schedule. So that's how you can track how well did we implement our plan of 13. Well, we implemented it by getting 11 of the 13. The next thing it does is it tracks the number of actual patient visits, and it'll calculate your percentage of arrival from actual visits divided by scheduled visits. So there we had a 82% arrival for this particular week. And the other calculation that we do, and I think this is far more important and impactful than percentage of arrival, and that is something we call percentage of prescribed treatment. And that is the number of actual visits divided by the number of visits we were supposed to have. Now, our percentage of arrival is 82. Hey, way to go, everybody. We got 82% arrival. But in actuality, you know what? It's really 69% of what we were supposed to have had. So I think this is an extremely valuable piece of data that you can use and track. And then the other thing that it will calculate is that it calculates the average patient visit per patient for the week. So it takes all of the visits, divides it by the number of patients you have, and that tells us that we saw our patients on an average of 1.33 visits per week. That doesn't seem very good, but you have to take into account new patients that start late in the week, other patients who discharge in the week, and those other visits that we have decided that is acceptable for them to come less than what the ideal plan was. Generally, we look for this to be above 2. If it's above 2, you're doing pretty well. 2.3 is even better. It'll also track the number of discharges we had for the week, and it will track the number of discharges that came less than 6 visits. Basically, an early discharge is how we've defined that. So if we go back to the roster, and let's see here, we've got oh, I thought we had a discharge patient in here. We didn't. But if someone has less than 6 visits, that'll show up there. So this information here tells you how well did we execute our plan and all of the data over on this side. And not only does it do it for the entire clinic, it will do it for each individual clinician so that you can see if someone's falling behind. That's a problem that you need to solve. You also may have a rock star. And if you've got a rock star, then you want to find out what that person's doing and have them share that with the rest of the staff. So that is the information that the dashboard will share with you.